Well, good thing you're ready because we are live to Tiger Talks Wrestling. I am your host, Tony, joined, of course, as most of the time, by the final boss himself, Eddie. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Tiger Talk Wrestling, we at Tiger Talk Wrestling would like to thank all of you who turned in on Sunday night as we reviewed last year's SummerSlam and paid tribute to the immortal Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne and Theo Huxtable. We want to say thank you for the 132 views of watching us. And if you're not just watching us now because we do look pretty, by the way. Basically, if you want to watch that show and learn about last year's SummerSlam and hear what we said about the immortal Hulk Hogan and Ozzy and Theo Huxtable, just click on that Tiger Talk Wrestling show from Sunday and you will get the most electrifying show in all of YouTube. Because you know why? I'm better than you and you know it.
Going all MJF on us now, are you?
Most definitely. Now, let's get this going and talk about this year's SummerSlam in my home, well, not New Jersey, but in my home state of New York, New Jersey. So let's talk about it because this one's a very special one with me.
Yes, and huge things coming, of course, for SummerSlam. History in the making, as it's the first ever two-night SummerSlam there in MetLife. So we got 6 matches scheduled for each show. It'd be a fun Saturday and a fun Sunday night for SummerSlam. You never know what could happen. Sunday is even more packed. We're going to dive right in. And let's kick it off with a match where SmackDown, they ended the show with these 4 men. We're going to kick things off talking about these 4 men. As we have Drew McIntyre teaming up with the Maverick Logan Paul to face the team of the Viper Randy Orton and country music sensation Jelly Roll. And on paper, when you look at this, and I'm sure you talk to any casual fan, they're probably wondering, why the hell is Jelly Roll in this match? Well, Jelly Roll's been at the Performance Center for the last couple months. He moved to Florida just so he could train in the Performance Center. He's going to surprise a lot of people, I have a feeling, in this tag team match at SummerSlam tomorrow night. Which we talked about a little bit previously, Eddie, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely. First of all, let's just say about Jelly Roll. What a transformation of, as a person that is heavy himself, to see somebody like Jelly Roll lose all that weight and look really good like I have. I have lost 130 pounds. I was 480 pounds. Back in last October, and to see him doing that, it makes me feel good that I know that I'm working hard and he's working hard. So, give it up to Jelly Roll.
Yes. He has lost a lot of weight and been putting in the work, that's for sure. But when it all comes down to it, I mean, we seen Jelly Roll give a choke slam tonight to one of the security guys. He, a couple weeks ago, choke slammed Logan Paul through a table on Jimmy Kimmel Live. he could be the X factor here, but how do you think this one turns out? Do Drew and Logan get the win here, or does Jelly Roll win in his debut match alongside the Viper Randy Orton? Keep in mind, Randy Orton, since coming back from back injury, has had a very lopsided record in PLEs and mostly in the L column more than the W column.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I see this in one way. Logan and Drew are going to be an odd team, but it's going to be a good match. And like you said, the X factor is Jelly Roll. With the debacle, not the debacle, but with the disappointment of Travis Scott, because WWE had high hopes for him to be in a match, and Jelly Roll basically stepped up. No offense to Travis Scott, but, you know, the way they're saying it, that he couldn't get it right to learn how to wrestle, and it's not for everybody. So my pick for this match is going to be Randy Orton versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, because you're not going to have Jelly Roll losing his first ever match in the WWE. You know, that's Main Street, baby. You're not going to do that on the biggest stage, and especially in the inaugural 2-night of SummerSlam. Yeah, I see it going with Jelly Roll and Orton taking the win, and Jelly's gonna pin Logan Paul. I mean, I see it. I don't know what he's gonna do, but yeah, I see Orton winning, Jelly and Orton winning that match tomorrow. Is it tomorrow night? Yeah, tomorrow night. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I see them.
The first 6 matches are all for Saturday.
Yeah. So yeah, I see that Jelly and Orton winning the match tomorrow night.
John, who's not here, did send in his predictions for anybody who's wondering, and he is also going with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll to win, which makes the 3 of us, because I got Randy Orton and Jelly Roll winning as well. Drew and Logan Paul have seemed like they've been on the same page, but we both know they both have massive egos, and there's been rumors of a Drew McIntyre face turn at some point in time. I could see something happening between Logan and Drew where Drew might hit a Claymore on Logan. I agree with you on that. I think that's how the finish is going to be, Jelly Roll pinning Logan Paul. But I just think something's going to happen between Drew and Logan that'll lead to that finish, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we all know Logan Paul likes to run his mouth a lot.
Oh, God, he did it with John Cena. He did it with John Cena and all that. And that almost took a blow when they faced the Cody and Jey Uso. I mean, you remember how that was, that Cena got up in his face. I mean, and look what happened. Cena and Logan lost because of Logan's attitude towards his. The one thing I don't like when Logan Paul says, we don't like outsiders coming in and taking what we do. You're not. I'm like, dude, do you remember that you're a social media icon and you're talking about outsiders? You were one too, bitch.
Right? Just because he's made this his full-time job.
Yeah.
No. Logan seemed to get along that well. I mean, even look back at Logan's first match when he was with The Miz. Yes, they won at WrestleMania in his first match, but they ended up fighting each other not too long afterwards as well. So, and then with what happened with Cena. So how can Logan and Drew coexist in the long run?
Yeah, I mean it's
Just
over.
don't see it happening.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Tony. I always feel like Logan Paul, every tag team he's been in, it's been a disaster for him because he runs his mouth. Listen, we understand that your brother Jake only wins boxing matches because he puts it in his contract that he don't want to get hit in the face. Well, it already looks like somebody already punched him in the face. So don't worry about it.
Right? That's for sure. All right. We'll see how that turns out. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one open the show, but who knows? One of these other matches could open the show.
Yeah.
It could be even this next match that we'll talk about. Up next, you got the rubber match, if you will. As we've got the underdog from the underground, Sami Zayn, going up against Killer Cross with Scarlett in his corner. I mean, Karrion Kross. So you and I believe we kind of talked about this match a little bit too last Sunday when we were talking about last year's SummerSlam and where these guys were at this year.
Yeah.
It's a very different place, if you will, for Sami Zayn than what he had last year, being the Intercontinental Champion going into SummerSlam. But you also, and when you talk about this match and you think about this match, Karrion Kross's contract with WWE is supposedly coming up soon. Now, Kross has gone on social media and said he will discuss that when the time is right. Potentially, he could have already re-signed with the company. Potentially, he could be leaving the company. Who knows? That will play a factor into the ending of this match, I have a feeling. But either way, we've seen two matches between these two. Sami won in Saudi because Sami wins in Saudi. He's like Mansoor, who won every match he had in Saudi. Kross picked up the win on Raw a couple weeks ago, this being the rubber match. I did enjoy their little sit-down they had backstage on Raw this past Monday to build to this match. But I'm still a little hesitant on who I want to say is going to win this one. What are you thinking of this whole situation, Eddie?
Damn. So we are brothers or not brothers? Because yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, because if you look at Sami, a disappointing from last year being champ to putting it into this match, and then you have a guy that wasn't even on the card of last year, and his body of work is good, but the company don't want to push him. So I don't know. I absolutely don't know.
It's tough to pick. John did go with Sami Zayn to win this one. We got to pick somebody, obviously, but so tough to pick between these two because I want to see bigger things for both of them, to be honest. And I'd love to see Sami as a world champion sooner than later, but I'm going to go Karrion.
Yeah. Okay, so my point of view, I agree with you with that part. But here's this. If Sami wins, just saying, I feel like it has run its course, on this wonderful, but now it's what do you have for him? What and be the best, and I hate saying this with hesitation. My God, it's hard, but I gotta go with Sami because I don't want him as a. I don't want to did it. You know. There's some people that did it. CM Punk was a face, and then he turned heel as the WWE champion in an historic run.
Right.
I don't see this one really. This one really is an ups and down one, but if I lose, I lose this one. I got to go with Sammy. I don't want to, but we don't know what Karrion Kross's situation is.
Right. So the question for me is, if Karrion Kross does manage to get the win here, do we see potentially him get some help from somebody in this match? Because there has been rumors of a certain tag team that used to be in another company potentially coming to WWE and being linked with Karrion Kross.
The Righteous?
Yes. Dutch and Vincent. So we could see a debut of those two guys, and they could.
If that's the case, then yeah, you go with Karrion Kross, and you get a better what you have with the Final Testament, because that was a joke. I mean, the only thing that came good out of there was Paul Ellering.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it didn't matter whether Vince was in charge or Triple H was in charge. Neither one of them booked the Authors of Pain that good. So,
yeah.
Even though they had a decent run in NXT at one point.
Yeah.
Main roster wise, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not talk about the main roster of the Trojan, Karrion Kross.
Right? Yeah, let's not. All right. Moving on from there. Next up, we got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. As you got the new We're Not Friends team of Alexa Bliss and the Queen Charlotte Flair, facing off against Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, the current champs. Really two makeshift teams in a way, but Lexi and Charlotte actually have a history as real life friends, and it's being played over on screen now. Roxanne and Raquel have looked good in this short run that they've had as champions, though, and they look to improve that at SummerSlam. We kind of gave away our predictions in a way from our last prediction show and from last Sunday's show, but what do you got going on with this one? I will say first, new champs is what John says in Charlotte and Alexa.
Well, first of all, I got to say, I think that Charlotte Flair does Botox on her lips because it shows it clear as day. I'm going with the woo. Yeah, I'm going with Charlotte and Bliss. I think you got to. I mean, what? She's been back since both of them been back since the Royal Rumble, and both of them really did nothing special. I mean, yeah, Charlotte was at WrestleMania and lost to Tiffany Stratton, but still, other than that, it's been a ups and downs.
She also won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, she won the Royal Rumble, but up and down for Charlotte, and same thing goes for Bliss. She was in Elimination Chamber, then she disappeared for a while. And yeah, I'm going with new tag team champions and Charlotte and Alexa.
So my question is for this, they're in New Jersey. Who do we know that's from New Jersey that could play a part in this match?
Oh, I thought you were going to say my family, my wife's family, but no, I don't think they like wrestling.
No,
I
no.
don't know.
A certain former women's world
Oh no,
champion.
I know, but I just wanted to do that. But
A certain former women's.
Liv Morgan, yeah, I do see that. I do see that because they did mention her.
They have mentioned her multiple times.
Yeah,
Potentially, she could show up there at SummerSlam, whether to help or to hurt the Judgment Day. Who knows? Um, but I feel like if Raquel and Roxanne retain, then it'll be with help from Liv more than likely, or somebody in Judgment Day. But I'm gonna agree with you and Johnny on this one. I got Charlotte and Alexa winning. I feel like they're kind of the hot hand in the women's tag team division, I guess you could say. And they've got more of a story to them with everything going on as them not being friends, but yeah, leading to them being friends. It's just a very interesting dynamic that those put together on TV. And I feel like they need to go with the hot hand and give the titles to Charlotte and Alexa Bliss and give them a decent run as champs.
yeah, and maybe they could put a little credibility on them titles.
Maybe because Lord knows it needs it.
Yeah.
And also maybe go back down to NXT and defend the titles there some more, like what's happened previous times too. But
yeah,
make it look a little more important.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Let me pick. So the next match we got on the docket, the match that's really taken over Monday Night Raw, was the main event of Monday Night Raw the last 2 weeks. So that being the tag team match, as we got the Bronze. Oh, the Yankees are now winning, by the way. Bronson Reed and Big Bronson Reed, sorry, and Braun Breaker with the Oracle, Paul Heyman in their corner, going up against main event Jey Uso and the OTC Roman Reigns. Yeet and the one, yes. Before we talk too much about this match, though, you can't go without mentioning what happened on Raw Monday night. The beatdown that Roman and Jey took from Bronson and Braun was much needed for those two guys. They needed that, in my opinion. But that double spear through the barricade, holy shit. I mean, we've seen plenty of spears through the barricade, but nothing like that.
Are you still there?
Did I cut it? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still here.
All right, good. Yeah, you cut out a little bit.
Did I cut out?
Yeah.
What do you hear?
All right, I can hear you now.
All right. I said we've seen plenty of spears through barricades, but that spear this past Monday night to both Roman and Jey through the barricade, holy shit, we've never seen a spear like that.
Yeah, that was that spear was like, what the hell, with Braun Breaker doing that stuff, man. I mean, damn, that was hands down, man, that was just sick. I mean, that was ooh.
Yeah. And like I said, Braun and Bronson kind of needed to get that advantage that night after what had happened the week before when Roman returned. But it's leading up to what should be a really good tag team match. John's pick is Roman and Jay to win. What are you thinking, Eddie, for this match, and who you got?
Well, I have to go with John. I feel like, this is Roman's first match back since WrestleMania, and and it's good to see Jey Uso in a main event caliber match after losing the title. So all four are going to put on a show. So I'm going with the OTC and 4 letters, 1 word, yeet, to win this match.
Can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to go the opposite. Now, hear me out here. Roman Reigns got the upper hand on Braun Breaker in the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I know. Roman eliminated Braun Breaker at the Royal Rumble. Roman has had good things to say about Braun Breaker behind the scenes this entire time since Breaker's been on the main roster, from what I've heard. They are talking about a Roman Reigns Braun Breaker match at WrestleMania. We know, you and I have talked about it. I think we talked about it even on Sunday. After SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are going to be off of TV for like the next 8 weeks or something like that, doing Street Fighter, I think, movie.
Oh yeah, I heard.
What better way to lead to a potential WrestleMania match? What better way to lead to a potential WrestleMania match between Braun and Roman than to start here with Braun Breaker taking out the OTC?
That is
I'm going to go with Braun and Bronson getting a big upset victory.
Wow. You went there.
I did.
Wow.
I think they need it.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but wow.
To make this faction legitimate, they need it.
That's true, Well, it's going to be a shitty night for me.
And it could be a shitty night for me. Who knows?
Yeah, right?
We'll see what happens. I'm just going off left field in some of these matches.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That's the passion you have. You want to show people, like, yeah, I'm picking who I want, motherfucker. Up yours.
Right? Some people might not agree with it, but I don't give a damn.
Yeah. See, now you're playing the heel.
You have your
Good
prediction,
for you.
I'll keep mine. Sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. So the next match, I got a lot to talk about for this next match. The WWE Women's Championship match. You see there, Jade Cargill against the champ, Tiffany Stratton. The Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill, might I add. They've had, 2 months, I believe, to build this match since Jade won the Queen of the Ring tournament. And I know Tiffany had her match with Trish at Evolution a couple weeks ago. But they really haven't built to this match at all. I mean, last week, a little bit, kind of, because Jade helped Tiffany helped Jade out after she was getting beat down by the Secret Service. And then they did a little interaction backstage. Where the hell's the build to this when you got the Queen of the Ring facing the WWE Women's Champion here? And this just kind of feels reminiscent to the Bayley Io match from WrestleMania last year to me. Besides that, who are we supposed to cheer for and who are we supposed to boo? Because these are both supposed to be baby faces, but as people have mentioned on social media, these two really excel better as heels. So, and have heelish tendencies. I'm just confused by all of it, I guess.
Hands down, hell yeah, I agree with you. I think the one that's getting a push, and I'm gonna say this, and this is not even both of them. I feel like the only ones that are getting a push is Nia Jax and Last Legends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're gonna wrestle on Tuesday and on NXT.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, they're getting more. They're getting more push down in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
That I mean, hell, even Miss Parker is getting more push than Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. And these are your two top.
Exactly.
These are your two top main roster talent, and she's your champion, and she's kind of getting a push. And I don't know. Yeah, this one is like they just threw this together. They could have put Asuka into this one. It would have made sense.
So to piggyback off of that a little bit, yes, Tiffany faced Trish Stratus at Evolution. The match was all right, but even the build for that was sucky. What have they been doing with Tiffany? They haven't done jack shit over the last couple weeks or couple months, to be honest. The last big feud she was in, I mean, was kind of Nia, but they haven't really done anything with Tiffany in this title reign. Maybe it's just time for her to drop the title in.
Yeah, and it's the same thing that goes with her match with Charlotte at WrestleMania. It was like, yes, Charlotte won the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah.
But only two interviews between both of them, and it was throwing jabs at one another, and it really didn't get people were not really into that match at WrestleMania. And since then, I feel like, yeah, you're right. Tiffany's main feud was against Nia Jax. That actually made sense. Her last opponents are basically like, let's just throw her against this and see who she could beat. I mean, hell, she went up against a Hall of Famer, and it felt like they rushed it. They rushed it to a point that Trish is like, you can't do that to Trish Stratus. I mean, she's a Hall of Famer. You know, she looks good at her age, and you basically are hurting your future by basically not knowing what to do with her. You know, this match is going to be either, and we already know this match is going to be a stinker. You know, I'm not banking this match. You know, if I was Dave Meltzer, I'd give this match 2.5 stars.
Who knows? It might not even be that. But so I'll give my prediction in a moment. John's got Tiffany Stratton retaining. What do you think's going to happen? Who do you got winning here, Eddie?
I know she's green, and I know she's not ready for this. This is not AEW. This is the WWE. But I feel like they're building up to the eventual match that they want. Maybe it's at Clash in Paris. Jade Cargill becomes the new women's champion and then starts a feud with her former tag team champion partner and Bianca Belair. I feel like Jade's going to win her first major title, and then we're going to get that feud that we've been waiting for since the attack. Nobody knows, and the Yankees lost by 1. Yeah, sorry, I went off track, but no. I feel like yeah.
It's okay.
I feel like Jade Cargill's gonna win. I think they see something in her, but she's learning. But I don't think she's ready to be a world champion. She was the TBS champion. That was fine. But when you come to the big time,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta learn. You gotta learn
Mm-hmm.
how to do it. She's a phenomenal athlete. I'm not saying anything bad about her. I don't think you basically got to coast her to this, and it's been rough sometimes because it shows on TV. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this in a nice way. I think she's gonna win the title, and then Tiffany needs to get out of SmackDown. I feel like she should go to Monday Night Raw and start a romantic relationship with El Grande Americano. I don't know which one because now there's two of them. Oh, three.
Off of that, well, three technically, but off of that, I did see on social media yesterday supposedly that her and Kaiser did break up. So
Well, if it is, she could go out with El Grande Americano.
After the whole Charlotte Flair and him being in Charlotte Flair's, yeah. But back to track on this. So I got a few things to say about it before I give my full prediction. Screw you to injuries and screw you, Naomi, in a way, because she just threw a curveball and a wrench into all my plans for this match when she cashed in at Evolution, because I thought for sure Naomi was cashing in here and going to cost Jade the title, beat her for the title after the match. But nonetheless, I feel like this match goes one of two ways. But I think Bianca Belair is involved in either one of those two ways. She is rumored in Bianca to be returning to in-ring action potentially next Friday night on SmackDown. So, I think we're going to see the EST at SummerSlam get involved either in or after this match. Either she comes out and she costs Jade the title, but I'm going to go more likely with my prediction here. Jade Cargill pins Tiffany Stratton to win the title. Bianca Belair comes out afterwards. That's one of your big returns for SummerSlam. And Jade thinks she's there to help celebrate with her. But instead, Bianca turns and takes out Jade Cargill, leading to your aforementioned match between Bianca and Jade for the women's title. Yeah. I'm going with Jade Cargill winning the title as well. We get Bianca Belair as a heel, maybe even revealing that she was the mastermind behind Naomi attacking Jade in the first place. I still think she had a part to do with that.
I do too.
We'll see what happens there. All right. All that said, there it goes. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. My screen went white there for a moment, so I was just making sure.
Yeah, I can see you.
All right. So that brings us to the SummerSlam Saturday main event. And man, just wait till we get our predictions on that one. There you see it. The best in the world, CM Punk, one-on-one with the Ring General, Gunther, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, Eddie, you and I kind of discussed this match a little bit last Sunday when we did our SummerSlam review for last year and talked a little bit about the matches this year for the individuals. I'm going to kick off by mentioning John picks Gunther to retain here, but I think there's going to be more at play than just these two when it's all said and done. You and I kind of discussed this a little bit, like I said, on Sunday, but go ahead with your take on this entire match and where we think this is going.
Okay, so my prediction is actually a wild card with this one. I have two different scenarios, and they're involving a third man. And no, I'm not talking about the New World Order. No, that already happened at Bash at the Beach in '96. I'm not talking about that. Hands down, my first thing, Gunther retains the World Heavyweight Championship. The reason why is that the man that holds the Money in the Bank is legit injured and cannot come out to cash it. And all that he has, the actual injury that he has, and I'm talking about Seth friggin' Rollins. So that's my first prediction, and then the second one is that CM Punk will finally win his first World Heavyweight Championship, his first world title in 11 years. And then afterwards, he gets attacked by Gunther, and then you hear burn it down, and that legit injury wasn't an injury. It was just a setup to take the title away from CM Punk, and you have the ultimate screw job. Seth Rollins walks out of New Jersey as the new World Heavyweight Champion, and there was no legit injury because we don't know. So this is where it gets tricky. WWE's keeping keeping a hush-hush on this. I'm going with plan B. CM Punk becomes the new world champion, and Seth Rollins cashes in Money in the Bank and takes the title and leaves New Jersey and screws CM Punk again. New Jersey and screws CM.
Yeah, I've seen that, people suggesting it on social media, and I kind of agree with it and agree with you. I think either way, I'm going with CM Punk winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther.
Yeah.
Whether there's a cash in or not. But it's just weird. I guess weird is a word to put there, whatever word you want to put there, that we have not heard an update at all on Seth Rollins since he was on the Colin Hurd show or whatever ESPN show he co-hosted for a couple episodes. And he mentioned that when he was in Alabama, the swelling was too much that they couldn't give a definitive answer, so he was going to have to go to LA and get checked out by a doctor there. We've never heard since then what he found out. So that tells me I don't think the injury's fake, but I think it's not as bad as what they originally thought it was going to be, and therefore leading to the surprise return of Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, him hitting that curb stomp after either Gunther beat down or Bronson and Braun could come out and beat Punk down, leading to the cash-in. Curb stomp, 1, 2, 3, Seth freaking Rollins walks out Saturday night as the new World Heavyweight Champion. And the second ever two-time World Heavyweight Champion in this iteration of the title, since Gunther's a two-time World Champion.
Yeah.
So, but we'll have to wait and see because, like we said, like you said, they're keeping it hush hush, and that's very unusual with an injury like that, especially to a big star like Seth Rollins.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about Seth, but look at, if you haven't watched it, I don't know if you watched it, Tony. If you watched WWE Unreal on Netflix, which I have watched it, it's a good documentary.
I haven't yet.
Yeah, it's a good documentary. It goes behind the scenes. It talks about, and I'm not going to tell you about the whole episode. They're all good episodes. They talked about how they did the hush hush on John Cena's heel turn at Elimination Chamber because they didn't want social media or nobody knowing. They wanted to keep it as a surprise. I feel like that documentary is showing what they do in the back in creative. I mean, this one is so hush hush. It's like they want you on the edge of your seat to see what really happens in that match. And this is going to be the biggest screw job ever. And the biggest surprise of Seth is not injured. He just did it to get the title away from Punk. What a brilliant plan by Seth and the Oriole, Paul Heyman.
The Oracle. Yeah. Seth has said several times that as long as he's breathing air in and out of his lungs, that CM Punk will never be World Heavyweight Champion again. So Punk might still win it and briefly hold it, but that'd be the way for Seth to kind of keep his promise. Taking it from him that quick.
Yep.
All right. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. Now let's move on to Sunday night's predictions of SummerSlam. Like I said, these matches are almost all stipulation matches. Either titles or stipulations are online for every match for Sunday. Actually, I think titles are online for every match, and there's a stipulation for almost every match. Yeah, there is. I think this match would be a great way to start off Sunday's SummerSlam, but we'll see if that's what happens or they pick a different one. That is for the Intercontinental Championship. You got the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, challenging against Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio. Now, we talked already about the Judgment Day's Saturday plans as the women's tag titles are on the line. But here we got AJ looking for his, I think they said third Intercontinental Championship if he wins. Second or third. And Dom looking to retain against, in my opinion, if Dom somehow manages to win, the biggest one of his career.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. It will be the biggest win of his career. And give it up to Dirty Dom, man. I mean, congratulations on 20 years of being in the business. I mean, you debuted in 2005 when your father went up to your real father and the late great Eddie Guerrero and tried to cause him to lose the match for your poppy. I mean 20 years in the business, and yes, I'm going to say this, you are the best Mysterio that it is. So my pick, and I'm going to say this, and this is just to celebrate them 20 years. Your real poppy lost, your real daddy lost, and Eddie Guerrero to Ray because your Aunt Vicky got involved. So I'm going with Dirty Dom retaining the title because, damn it, we need him. We need him to celebrate 20 years on top.
And what have you two been drinking? All of a sudden, Dirty Dom fans? What the hell? I'm going to disagree because he's a phenomenal one. And AJ Styles has gone way, way, way too long without having gold around his waist. I got AJ Styles picking up the win and becoming Intercontinental Champion at SummerSlam Sunday night. Now, not to discredit Dom, he is good in the ring. He did get a huge pop in Mexico, and from the sounds of things, they're planning on having him be a big star in the U.S. version of AAA that's supposed to be coming soon, that WWE is going to be a part of. He's supposed to be like one of the big stars of that. But I just feel like it's time for AJ to get a title reign again. And because the last title reign I believe he had was the World Tag Team title reign him and Omos had. So it's been a long time since AJ's had singles. But we'll see what happens. Should be a good match to kick off Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, if it does kick off the show. We'll see. You never know. Liv, like I said, Liv's from the New Jersey area too. She could get involved in that match as well if she doesn't get involved in the other one. All right. Up next, we got the steel cage match for the U.S. Championship, the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu going up against Solo Sikoa inside that 15-foot high steel cage. Does Jacob get his revenge and get his title back, or does Solo have something up his sleeve to help him retain inside the steel cage? All this, of course, off of Solo calling Jacob Fatu some things he shouldn't have because Jacob overheard it, leading to their match that they had, of course, where Solo won the title. Jacob looked good inside that steel cage tonight with the brawl with the MFTs, or with two of the four anyway, taking out JC Mateo and Tonga Loa. But is it enough? I mean, Solo still got that 7-foot tall Tala Tonga, formerly Hikuleo, in his corner and easily could get involved inside the steel cage. I mean, we've seen guys like him tear off the cage door before or scale the cage and get involved in matches like this. Who's to say that doesn't happen again here and somehow that leads to Solo retaining? I don't know, but maybe Jacob's got somehow that he actually wins back his U.S. title. Could go either way. John's got Solo retaining, though. What are you thinking, Eddie?
I think it's too soon for. Solo to lose the title. I want Jacob to win it back, but yeah, I feel like there's somewhere that Tala Tonga, whatever the fuck they call him, Tala Tonga, maybe comes up from the ring like the Big Show in St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Or here's the X Factor.
Maybe.
Does Big Jim finally accept Solo's offer to join his family?
I don't see that happening, but you never know.
It's WWE.
The rumor is that he's supposed to head back over to Raw and join up with him at some point.
You know, it's WWE, man. You don't know what to expect now.
What?
It's on the new regime.
That's
you
true.
know, I mean, we don't know what the hell they plan anymore in these meetings.
Right. So let me piggyback a little off of that, though. Something I did see. Oh, that's supposed to be live now. Something I did see online today. Perhaps you're right. Maybe Jimmy does cost Jacob, whether or not that means he joins Solo. But that could play off of tomorrow night because, like me saying Braun and Bronson win that tag team match, you could see main event Jey Uso turn on his cousin Roman Reigns for all the crap that Roman's put him through over the years. And then we could get the heel Usos again on Monday Night Raw after the draft that's supposed to be coming up sometime soon. Do we really need that when you got the New Day as heels on there? I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I'm going to agree with you and John, though. I've got Solo retaining the title one way or another.
I would not want to turn Jay heel because he is the hottest one now.
Right? That's what I feel, too. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Usos. And I agree with you. I'd like to see Jacob Fatu win that U.S. title back from Solo at some point. Jacob had a short reign, and Solo could have a shorter reign if he loses here at SummerSlam. But I agree with you. I think it's too soon to take the strap off Solo.
Yeah.
All right. Oops, that's not the match I wanted. All right, up next, we got the no disqualification, no count out, last chance match, if you will, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. You got Lyra Valkyria facing the champ, Becky Lynch. If Lyra loses, she can never challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship as long as Becky's a champion. So that puts a little wrinkle into things, perhaps. But, and you and I talked about this, Eddie, there's a certain X factor that could get involved in this match. We could see big things changing for that person's career, potentially. We'll see what happens there. What are you thinking for this match between Lyra and Becky? It is kind of the rubber match. I mean, I know I was hoping for Bayley instead of Lyra here in this match, but we're getting this. So,
well,
which I guess it kind of needs a conclusion. Makes a little bit of sense.
Well, I'm going with Big Time Bex or the man Becky Lynch. I feel like we already just said who's going to interfere. What better way to get rid of a person that you want that title so much, Bayley, because of the hatred you have for Becky Lynch, because of the 4 Horsewomen. What better way to get her away? That means she will never challenge for the title. Never challenge again for the Intercontinental title. Is to just cost her it. But it's gonna be by accident. But Lyra's not gonna take it that way. So yeah, I see Bayley interfering, costing Lyra, and Becky retains, and possibly, do we get a heel turn from Lyra Valkyria?
Ooh. See, that's a little different than what I was thinking. John agrees. He's got Becky retaining. Now I'll put it out there. I agree too. I got Becky retaining as well. But my situation and my thinking is a little similar, but not fully similar to yours.
Yeah.
I see Bayley getting involved. I don't think Lyra's the one turning heel, though. I think Bayley is going to purposely cost Lyra Valkyria this match, leading to Becky winning. Whether or not that leads to a Bayley and Becky alliance going forward, I kind of think that'd be a fun thing to see, but I don't know. Bayley's frustrated. You can tell on screen and through her messages, through her posts on X. She missed out at WrestleMania because of getting taken out by Becky. She's missing out on this match because she lost to Lyra. She's not been getting along with Lyra. They have butted heads. She even tried to get that tag team title match for them, that it didn't go the way they wanted it to. She's a pissed off Bayley, really, if you want to look at it that way. And I feel like it could all lead to Bayley feeling like Lyra's the one in her way. So what better way than to take her out of the equation for the Women's Intercontinental title situation, at least. Whether that leads to Bayley thinking, hey, that means you can't challenge for it again. That means I'm up next to go after Becky. Or, like I said, could lead to Becky and Bayley working together, too. I don't know. But I think either way, Bayley might turn heel, as much as I don't really want to see it because I love Bayley. But she turns heel. Becky retains the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah. Either way, our scenarios work around the two
That's
girls at a time. You know, either way, Bayley or Lyra's turning heel somewhere. Because do you want two heels going up against one another
Yes.
for the title? You know, either way, because if you look at a couple of weeks, Lyra's acting more. Her interviews are getting more aggressive and like more pudging and all that. And
right,
you know, I feel like it just comes off that way. It just comes off that way. And I agree with your part too. Why turn Bayley heel and have her cost Lyra? I mean, Lyra, you want to have a face in that match, and you keep Bayley as a face for a while, and then you turn her somewhere down the road. I mean, Lyra, I don't think I ever saw Lyra Valkyria as a heel. I would like to see that.
I think she might have been briefly in NXT UK, but
yeah,
I don't think she really has been in regular NXT or on the main roster yet.
Yeah,
that could be interesting. We shall see. The man comes out on top in the end, no matter what, is what we're saying, anyways.
Yeah.
He just might not be the biggest story coming out of the match, though.
And does she really have to be? She's already established. She's good.
No. Right. Some might even say great.
Okay, some will say...
Or greatest, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to the next match. These last three matches are going to be fun. This one especially. 25 years in the making, really? Oh, I might have to plug in here. Give me a moment. 25th anniversary of the first ever TLC match. We're getting the biggest TLC match in SummerSlam history. 6 teams from Friday Night SmackDown, all vying for the WWE Tag Team Championships. You got the makeshift Frax in the Street Profits, all challenging for those tag team gold against the current champs, the Wyatt Six, Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. Before we dive too much into this one, Eddie, it's got to bring back memories of that first TLC match between the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian 25 years ago. A great match, even though some people on social media have tried to now say it wasn't all that great, but in reality it was. There might have been some mishaps in there, but that happens in this type of a match. There's been plenty of TLC matches since then, but and maybe you'll disagree with me. The one they had the night before WrestleMania, or week after, whichever it was, that should have been on the WrestleMania card, was probably one of the best TLC matches in WWE history.
I agree with I agree with you with that because there's two things about a TLC match. First of all, it's great to see it back on the SummerSlam card and seeing all these guys put their bodies through what they're going to be putting them through on Sunday. Good luck trying to top Hall of Famers and the Dudleys. We know the Hardys are going to be WWE Hall of Famers. Edge is already Adam Copeland. Edge is a Hall of Famer, and Christian eventually, which is a crying shame that Christian is not a Hall of Famer already. Because he did take some time off due to injuries. But yeah, try to top that because that match with them three teams for the WWE Tag Team Championships could never be topped again at a SummerSlam. And tomorrow night they're going to show if they could live up to that match. And I know these guys can. But you're going up against current and future Hall of Famers. You got to live up to that bill. And it's very hard to live up to three of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling. There's a lot of lists of greatest teams in professional wrestling. But, yeah, so like you said, that match at the WrestleMania, before WrestleMania this year, yes, that should have been on the WrestleMania card, but they got screwed. But they're going to shine. These guys are working their ass off, and yeah, it's going to be a good match, but 25 years after the first one, good luck, boys. Enjoy the ride because this will make your career.
Yes, it will. Of course, 3 of these 6 teams were in that TLC match earlier this year, being the DIY, the Machine Guns, and the Street Profits, that the Street Profits managed to retain. Do we see another retainment for the Wyatt Six here? Or do we see one of those other 3 teams that have been the tag team champions over the last year win it? Or do we see potential first-time WWE tag team champions out of either Fraxium or Andrade and Rey Fenix? One other thing to keep in mind, Andrade and Rey Fenix are undefeated as a tag team since they started teaming up. However, this isn't just a straightforward tag team match, of course. This is tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my. And there are 10 other guys in that ring besides the 2 of them. So it's going to be a car crash in a way at points, but it's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a car crash. It's going to be a car crash with this match. I mean, it's going to be showing people like, yeah, these guys are going to put themselves through hell and high water.
Yes. I'm glad the SmackDown Tag Team Division is getting a good spotlight. Put that out there. About time. The best tag team division in the company. Maybe in all of wrestling, for that matter. So Johnny's got the Wyatt 6 retaining. How do you think this one ends up, Eddie?
I'm going with the Wyatt 6 because I always feel like Eric Rowan or that insane woman that is Nikki Cross will interfere in this. I feel like the Wyatt 6 is going to win because maybe people don't know right now, the Wyatt 6 come at the end of this month are going to be featured in Universal Halloween Horror Nights. And
I did see that.
What better way to promote your brand? And I've been to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. Fantastic thing that they do. What better way is to promote the brand of WWF or WWE, sorry. You know, what better way to promote the brand is to have your world champions represent you with the titles and all that. So I see the Wyatt 6 retaining because they just won it. Why give them a chance. You know, these guys haven't had a chance since Bo Dallas went to the injury. Don't just take away their momentum because if you do, what's left with them? They're just going to be called the Wyatt 6 with nothing. I mean, Nikki Cross hasn't wrestled yet. Rowan has, but Bro Dallas, I mean, give him a chance. Give him a chance. And I just feel like it's time to do that, and so I'm going with the Wyatt 6 retaining the tag team titles at SummerSlam.
You can make an argument, in my opinion, for any one of these teams to walk out with the gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will agree with you and John. I got the Wyatt 6 to retain as well. Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan and Nikki Cross can all get involved, and that's might be what leads to them retaining. Because, like you said, give them a chance. Dexter and Joe Gacy deserve a chance to run for it. But my question is, after this TLC match, no matter which team comes out on the other side with the champions, who's next to get a shot? The only tag team on SmackDown right now that isn't in this match, well, technically there's two, Pretty Deadly, but they've also are down one member because he's injured. In Los Garza, the AAA World Tag Team Champions, do they get the next title shot? Or like I said, there is a draft that's supposed to be happening at some point soon. Do we see the tag team divisions get altered in a major way in this upcoming draft?
That is true. Okay, this is just a spitfire. Do we see a match between one of the teams that was in the first one 25 years ago? Do we see the Wyatt 6 of Gacy and Loomis going up against the current TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys.
Possibly. I mean, there was talk that when they showed up in NXT that they could have a summer program on the main roster. So,
yeah,
maybe that is it. Maybe we do see the Hardys versus the Wyatt Six at some point.
Most definitely. I would love that. And
I mean, it would be perfect because I think of the
plus with the
history from Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt.
Most definitely. Oh, God, that would be great.
Yeah, it would. That could just be us fantasy booking, but hey, we can do that.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, I'd love to see the Hardys in WWE again. It's been a long time. Too long. All right. Next match. Now, if AJ and Dom don't kick off SummerSlam Sunday, I think this match more than likely could be the alternative match to pick to kick off the show. Kind of the Evolution rematch, if you will. We got the Women's World Championship on the line in a triple threat match as former champion, the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky, faces off against Mommy, Rhea Bloody Ripley, and of course the new Women's World Champion, Naomi, who tells them both to proceed with caution, of course. After the cash-in at Evolution, we get the straightforward triple threat match. Amazing main event at Evolution between Rhea and Io that got ruined by Naomi. But I'm expecting this triple threat match to be great at SummerSlam between these three after seeing what Io and Rhea could do one-on-one. You throw in Naomi, it should be a recipe for success. Of course, waiting on the other side of this match, you got Stephanie Vaquer, who will be facing the winner of this match at Clash in Paris at the end of August.
Oh, yeah. What's Johnny's pick? Because what did he pick?
He's got Naomi retaining.
Okay. Shit. I don't want to say this because I love Io and Mommy. Maybe one of them should move down to the Intercontinental Championship picture. Or maybe one should go over to SmackDown. You know, I would love to see Rena go to SmackDown and challenge for the Women's Championship. That will be a great thing. Even, but I feel like if Naomi wins, she'll survive SummerSlam, but she will lose to Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris. So I'm going with Naomi retaining now and then dropping the title to Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris.
Okay. So, I'm going to somewhat piggyback off of yours a little bit there. I'm going to agree with you and John. I think Naomi's retaining. I don't see why they would take the title off of her this quick, only a couple weeks into her title reign.
Yeah.
I would agree with you on the whole Rhea Ripley moving over to SmackDown. I think they'd play the long haul, though. I don't think it's a women's title match right away. I think maybe we see Rhea Ripley go on to become the second woman to win 2 Royal Rumble matches. And by then, you have the EST as the women's champion, and we get that dream match that everybody's been wanting at WrestleMania next year, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the women's championship.
Oh, that would be perfect. Oh, that would be perfect.
There was talk, and I've seen clips from Unreal. I haven't watched the whole show, but there was talks of doing Bianca versus Rhea at WrestleMania this year. So I could see them having that in mind for next year then, since it didn't happen this year. Me, in my opinion, that match, Rhea versus Bianca for the championship at WrestleMania, to me, that would be the one match, more than likely, that would scream women's main event at WrestleMania over any other pairing right now. Because they've kind of built to that match for years.
Yeah.
And who knows, you could see EO go back over to SmackDown too, but we shall see. All right. That brings us to the main event. Now, I closed at work tonight, so I didn't catch the entire promo on SmackDown. I read up a little bit about it. I will watch the promo at some point in time. I heard John Cena kind of made a face turn. We get John Cena defending the WWE Undisputed WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes in a street fight Sunday night, at SummerSlam. I'm not so sure I'm buying it. I know they shared a beer, I guess, from what I read. Not sure I'm buying this whole Cody woke John up situation. I mean, it could be because Cena probably will have a face turn sooner rather than later, since he doesn't have a whole lot of dates left on this year, on his contract, if you will. With that being said, this is the rematch from WrestleMania. The only difference is it's a street fight. Where do you think this goes, Eddie?
All right, this one has been so confusing for a long time. Okay, so I won't bring it into detail because you haven't watched the promo between the two of them, but certain names got brought up in the promo that really concerns me. That let's say this, he brought up I'll mention the one person he brought up. Cena brought up Travis Scott, and yeah, brought him up, and he brought up a certain other person that left him after WrestleMania to hear everybody. So wait till you hear that promo. So hands down, John Cena already has his 17th world title. He's the greatest of all time. He got the title that he needs. He's already been world champion. Mm-hmm. He don't need the title to prove that, to go out into the sunset. My thinking is that Sunday night we finally saw the heel turn of Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes turns heel, becomes the undisputed WWE champion for the second time because Cody sold his soul to The Rock, who will be at, I don't know what his schedule is, but if you bring a guy up, that's a thing to say. The final boss will be at SummerSlam to present Cody with the title and screw John Cena to complete the double turn. So I'm going with Cody Rhodes winning and turning heel in the process. It has that feeling.
Fair enough. Johnny went with Cody Rhodes winning as well. So, like I said, I don't know that I believe John Cena fully. Could all be a trick or a ploy. You guys could be right. Cody could walk out with the title. We know Cody is going off to do this movie, though, as well. Do we really want, and I almost hate to say this, but do we really want Cody to win the title and then disappear for potentially 2 months with that title? I know Cena's talking about leaving at the end of the year as champion, and you won't see the title again. We know there'll be another title out there if that happened. But I don't want to see Cody Rhodes as champion, honestly, and taking time off and doing the whole Roman Reigns scheduling, if you will, as champion, where we only see him 2 months later. But something just doesn't sit right with me in the whole John Cena turning face, sharing a beer, shaking hands. Like I said, I haven't seen the entire promo. I've read parts of what happened. I just think this is all a setup from Cena, and I think in the end, with help from somebody, I'm not going to say Travis Scott because I don't think WWE wants Travis Scott anymore involved in anything. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be Dwayne because I don't know that Dwayne and Triple H are necessarily on the same page right now, because I've heard from Unreal the way things have turned out. Ryan Gerwitz and The Rock's camp have kind of said that things didn't actually happen the way that it claimed they were on Unreal, so who knows what's going on there. But in some way, shape, or form, I still feel like Cena walks out of MetLife still undisputed WWE champion. And because one of the other reasons I say that is because John Cena is scheduled to be on every SmackDown this month. So John Cena's definitely got a match coming up at Clash in Paris. So I could easily see him going into Clash in Paris as undisputed WWE champion against somebody. Who? I don't know for sure. But I'm sure it won't be Cody because, like we said, he's going off to do the Street Fighter movie with Roman. So and it doesn't sound like he'll be at Clash in Paris. But we shall see how things turn out. SummerSlam should be a fun 2-night event, the first ever 2-night SummerSlam in history. Triple H said the same thing about that show being 2 nights now, like WrestleMania, because it's a time for they're going to Disney World. But things along those lines. make it a weekend or a week-long event, if you will. Should be fun. And then, of course, you got Monday on the side of SummerSlam. We'll see the fallout. And if we do, I do still plan on trying to figure out something draft-wise of a show to do for the two of us and hopefully John as well. If we can get the three of us together to do a show, that is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we talked about it and I don't think we've mentioned it to John yet or not. If we're going to do a watch along tomorrow and Sunday, but we'll kind of plan on it. We'll see, play it by ear, what's going on. So,
yeah. Are we going to do it?
Other than that,
are we going to do? Oh, I remember we talked about.
Don't have nothing specific planned this month other than Clash and Panic show.
Are we going to talk about the after? Like do a post after SummerSlam show to say what we thought about the. Are we going to do something like that or not?
Yeah. Yeah, we had talked about it. I think that is a good idea. We'll do a WrestleMania, or excuse me, a Slam post show probably on Wednesday because, like I said, that's my next day off after this weekend. So
yeah.
Wednesday night, we do plan on doing that post show. We'll give our thoughts on how everything turned out and let you guys know what we thought about everything, where we think things are going from there. So we'll try to figure out some other shows to get in this month too. But
yeah, because we have a gap from
August
Saturday
now,
night.
And I think that leads.
Yeah, we have a gap like to the end of the month, so it's like, yeah, we got to think of some stuff.
Yeah, we'll figure out some stuff, even if it means. And no, I don't mean any disrespect to Hayden by this, and I'm not trying to make it sound like it. It's more so I've been having so many issues with StreamYard, with Restream, with all these different other apps or site websites that I've gone to trying to do videos and doing our review shows while showing clips of shows. It's too hard for me to do that. That's part of why I've kind of laid off on doing GLWA review shows. It's no offense to them, no offense to anybody that's any other company that's wanted me to do review shows potentially. I just would prefer to be able to use clips in there. If you guys could just send me clips instead of me just kind of showing little parts of the video, then that might be a little different off of YouTube. But it's just so hard with my internet connection's not good enough, I guess, to be able to allow me to do both at the same time. So that's why we don't do that. That's why when we do our review shows for like the SummerSlams and whatnot, we usually just talk about it. We don't have it on the screen as well while we're talking. Just want to throw that out there for anybody who might watch now or later and wonder why.
Oh yeah, we're not trying to be like, well, we're not going to do it because we don't want to. No, I get it. You're in an area, you have a lot of people in your house, and it's hard to get good internet. Believe me, I know that. I know that for a fact that it's hard to get internet. So yeah, so it's all good. So now I have it fixed now, but I get it. It takes a lot on in you, and you feel like you want to throw your router. So I get it. No disrespect to your other promotions. We'll gladly do it, but we need clips. We need still. We can't show a video because it just plain sucks. It goes in and out. It freezes up. We don't want that. We want to do the best for this brand and for their brand. So yeah, I get it, man. We got it. We're handling it. We're doing it. We're We're taking names and whooping ass.
Yep. And okay. We showed a little busyness there. If you want to see any I'm happy to try and talk about anything. Just hard for us, like I said, hard for me at least, to show clips or videos of certain things. I can try clips and see if that works better from shows, but I'm not the most educated, I guess you will, in making clips out of shows. So I'm not the greatest at doing that kind of a thing. That's why I don't do it. That's why I usually have some of my friends that I've known from backyard wrestling that have done things like that before. But there's that. We do all. I didn't fully tell you, but I have talked to my friend Mr. Awesome about making us a sign list or a thumbnail as well.
Okay. The only thing I heard was Mr. and then complete nothing after that. Are you talking about Mr. Iguana?
It cut off. So what I was saying, if you hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I did have talked to my friend Mr. Awesome that makes the different thumbnails. Most of the thumbnails has made our logo and the videos that we have used before. About our other show we had discussed, and he is in the process potentially of making a thumbnail at least for that other show.
Nice. And that'd be good. That'd be good for the brand. That'd be good for the brand. And talk about not just, let me just say this. I know we finished our wrestling. Talk about the world of sports. Talk about Major League Baseball. Talk about the NFL. I mean, for the God's sakes, we can even just do an hour show talking about the Dallas Cowboys, about the shit that's going on in Dallas, with Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. I mean, I'm experienced with baseball. I know a little bit about that. I watch a lot of, ESPN, First Take, and, I don't mind doing that and, take you outside of, not just wrestling, but take you outside to the world of baseball, to the world of the NFL, talk about the upcoming season, talk about top stories of each league. I mean, as of today, the 2027 All-Star game for Major League Baseball is coming to Chicago. So the Cubs will be hosting the All-Star game in 2027.
Yeah, I've seen that
to Wrigley Field. And then tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, we're not telling you not to watch SummerSlam. I am recording it tomorrow night in Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. It will be the Speedway Series for the first time in a racetrack. The Cincinnati Reds will take on the Atlanta Braves in a made-up, it is an actual racetrack, but they turned it into a baseball field. How crazy that is that Major League Baseball is coming to a racetrack. That is historic, and it's going to be great, and I'm recording it, so God, that would be great to talk about, about all the great things Major League Baseball is doing and all that other stuff. Yeah, so just do what you got to do, people. We're growing. We want you to come along for the journey. If you don't, then something's wrong with you. And Tony disappeared. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. Oh, did I disappear? My bad.
Yep.
Didn't show me that I did.
Next time when you disappear, you should have like a lantern and just be like
in and out, but it's all good because it's all on my side.
You could just do this, like every time you disappear, you just have a lantern and go like, "I'm here."
Yeah. Doing my Wyatts. Yeah. Oh, I know what we should have done. I should have did what they were doing on NXT on Tuesday night. A TNA wrestler pop up on the screen. Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Tony. I believe in Tony.
Yep, and it's still 132. Good to know. Our last show before that, by the way, still only has 10 views.
Well, it's WCW. What do you expect?
So, yeah. That's true. We thrown it out there. Some things people like, some things people don't seem to care for. All right. But anyways, don't forget, tomorrow and Sunday, SummerSlam does start at 6 p.m. Eastern time. The main show, the pre-show, countdown show, if you guys are interested, starts 3 o'clock Eastern time, which means for a long time if you watch the entire countdown and the main show. I don't plan on watching the countdown show because they never have anything really worthwhile on them. They just talk about the matches for the most part. And they might have an interview or two shown that you can find on social media afterwards, more than likely. I'll be watching the main shows and the post shows, the press conference, because the press conferences are interesting to me at least. But beyond that, like I said, we'll plan on being here Wednesday. I'm going to say probably 6 o'clock, if that works for you.
Almost. I ain't doing nothing until the 11th. I don't go back and work into the 11th, so I'm good.
All right. Yeah, so we'll probably do 6 o'clock on Wednesday. So give us a couple hours before that other promotions show starts. For those that would like to watch that, I am one of them. I admit it. It sucks sometimes, but I admit it because it's still wrestling. But anyway, for Eddie, I am Tony. This has been Tiger Talks Wrestling, our prediction show for SummerSlam 2025. We will catch you guys this upcoming